This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
I'm Larrue.
I'm Nyarly.
You sound so happy to be here, Nyarly. Yeah, Larrue with the finger guns, and then Nyarly. I'm Nyarly. All right, guys. Today is Manic Monday, and we always do news topics. So before we get into the Nintendo Switch dock, Farmville ending, and Xbox emulation, why don't you guys tell everybody about your channels?
My name is Larrue. Well, it's not my given name, but it's a name that I use.
Soon to be as given
on my
name.
channel. I'm gonna change my name. I talk about Megaton. I talk about Atlas. I like the history of the games and the development that goes into it. I also do a podcast. I keep forgetting to mention this, but I do a podcast, and I do Twitch. And on Twitch, I go crazy. So if you like insanity, watch me there.
And he does Among Us on there. He's usually the imposter,
Yeah.
and he won a lot. So
Yes, I'm a good liar, apparently.
all right.
Yeah, I also do Megaton stuff. I also stream, but I don't stream on Twitch. I do it on my second channel. Also have a podcast on my second channel, so yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
is it still called Heretic Mansion, or did you dump that tagline?
No. The podcast I do on my second channel, it's called the Megadolon Podcast.
Yeah, I was just messing with you.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, before we get into the video, there's Spencer Presley over here. He does a podcast pretty often, and he also covers Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. Go subscribe. YouTube.com/Torchwood4SP. That was not me talking. That was Spencer, I swear.
Yeah.
Although I did not sound like him at all. That's fine. So quick topics before we get into the most important thing ever, which is emulation on the Xbox. Nintendo is no longer making a standalone Switch dock, leading to speculation that either a better dock is coming or a Switch Pro. Do you guys have any interest in this?
I feel like I'm leaning towards either an enhanced dock, because I don't have a Switch, but I borrowed one for a long period of time, and that dock doesn't really feel that sturdy, so I could see it being just a new iteration, a higher quality version. I don't know.
What about you, Nyarly?
Yeah, well, haven't there been complaints of docks like bending switches or something?
That's non-OEM docks. So essentially, the non-OEM docks, they lack some of the qualities of the original dock. There have been some complaints about scratching, but that's basically been debunked and or fixed. I don't know which the answer is. But there is an interesting thing. There's this product called the M cable, and there's some upscaling things, and they're talking about maybe Nintendo would take the dock and upscale the Switch to 4K using some enhanced graphical output using that seed HDMI technology they use in the dock. So that's where some of my speculation is. I think they'd be more likely to just hand you a better dock that upscales like Breath of the Wild to 4K. Imagine that.
Yeah, I think another thing, like another pretty cool feature with a Switch dock would be to just like let you not on. Well, okay, you can hook it up to the TV if you want. But you could just plug your Switch into the dock and you could just play it using the Switch's screen. I mean, I know there are third-party docks that do that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like if Nintendo released one. I mean, they have an officially licensed Hori one that does that.
Okay.
I don't know how good it is. I thought about picking one up because Hori stuff tends to be pretty high quality. But I also read that if your Switch gets bricked in a non-Nintendo dock, they won't cover any warranty whatsoever. So I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I got mine used, so I don't have a warranty.
I have my friend works at GameStop warranty. No, I'm just kidding. My friend does work there, but it doesn't mean anything. Let's see here. So if they do a new dock and it gets 4K, that'd be pretty cool. But this is all just speculation at this point. Nintendo, it's basically based off of a thing Nintendo Europe put out. They said, we're not making the dock anymore. And I think the Americas and Japan are following suit. So we'll see. Second piece of news real quick topic. Farmville, the 2009 Farmville that started on Zynga with Facebook and all that stuff, is shutting down December 31st, 2020. So, get your farms ready for the long, cold winter. Did you guys ever play that?
I did. I was one of those obnoxious people that not only did I add all my friends, but I joined like those little private groups that would just be to add other people. so I can keep on farming.
Get
Nothing
the
of
boosts.
value is lost with this getting shut down. I guess grandmas everywhere are crying.
I had a few friends that were really invested in it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bunch of friends that played it back in the day, but I'm like, I think I'm just gonna keep playing Modern Warfare 2.
In between matches when I would die and search and destroy, you know, you get that 4 minute in between the rounds. There you go,
yeah.
Farmville. But yeah, there's plenty of better things to distract yourself on a mobile device than Farmville at this point in 2020.
Yeah.
Anyways, so on to our main topic. The reason people are probably clicking on this video, I have a bunch of Persona characters on the thumbnail with the Xbox and saying Persona on Xbox ? Clickbait, guys. I promise. No, it's not clickbait. It has been proven that the Xbox Series S and X in developer mode can be used to play older titles and even games from the PlayStation side, PS1, PS2, using RetroArch. Based upon this information, the Xbox Series X and S has backwards compatibility that the PS5 does not and the PS4 does not have, which is insane to me because you can play PS1 and PS2 titles on an Xbox Series X and you can't do that on a PS5. That's kind of sad, Sony. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So this means
that
that
is a nice way of putting it.
the Xbox Series X can play Persona 1, 2, Innocent Sin, 2, Eternal Punishment, 3, 3 Fest, and 4. It just can't play Golden unless we get Steam on there somehow. Think about that. I mean, you can literally play the entire series except 5. And I'm sure they're getting close to getting that ready too, because our PCS 3 is pretty far along. You can play Persona 5 on a PC right now using that emulator for the PS3. One of the biggest things that fueled the development of that was the Persona 5 getting onto the PC, which is pretty cool when you think about it, that Persona fans kind of drove the PS3 emulation to where it is now. But
yeah,
I mean, that's just, it's crazy.
Like, if you're gonna play Persona 5, just play Royal.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But until that came out, you could basically just load up RPCS 3 and play it on your PC if you had a high enough graphics card.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I don't know why Sony is just so afraid of like making their games backwards compatible. I think I know why. It's because they'd rather just release them digitally for $15.
Yeah.
But
for some reason, Persona 3 Portable is still $20 on the Vita.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, you make it's good that they have that, you know, you can play PS4 games on the PS5, but I think what I really wanted was PS2, because unless you emulate, pretty much the only way you can play PS2 games is if you get a PS2, and if you try to play a PS2 game on a modern TV, it looks like total garbage. So you got to hook it up to a CRT. Like, I got a CRT in my room that I use just for PS2 and Dreamcast games. But if we could play PS2 games on the PS5 with like an HDMI, having it like upscaled and everything, you know, that would be perfect.
Would it make you get a PS5?
Yes.
That's actually why I got the OG PS3, was to do that exact thing you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is the OG PS3s, those things don't last very long.
Mine's a tank. It's still going.
Wait, Larrue, didn't you say you had one?
I did, but I tried to redo the soldering, because that's the thing that fixes it, right? And since I'm probably the least tech savvy person in the world, I messed it up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't really find them online anymore unless you pay like $200 for them. But so like GameStop, you can get them at GameStop for like $80. So I did the special order thing where I'd go to the store and I'd ask another store to send it to my local store. I did that with like 10 of them, and only one of them ever arrived, and the one that did arrive was the wrong model. It was the 80 gigabyte, not 60 gigabyte.
So I did that with a Vita TV, or I'm sorry, the PlayStation TV. It's not the Japanese version. I actually had one shipped from a GameStop that was like 50 miles away, and they were like barely willing to do it. And then it showed up and it was broken. I was like, what? How do you even break one of these?
I mean, I've done that before with games. I don't know why they're just so, I don't know why they can't do that with consoles for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just internal issues. But I guess that's not really the point of this, other than to display that Sony is like totally inept when it comes to giving fans what they want as far as backwards compatibility is going. So what do you guys think about the fact that the Xbox Series X and S can be put into dev mode for anybody across the board, no matter if you're a developer or not?
I love that.
I think it's a pretty cool feature.
Yeah, the thing that bothers me is that in this day and age, Microsoft is being very, very pro-consumer. These are all things that I think are very pro-consumer, and then if it makes the other companies look bad, but they don't even seem to care, which is the thing that's like disconcerting. Is like, come on, you should be nervous that you can play PS1 and 2 games on Xbox, and you can't do that on modern like PlayStation console. Like, it's a bad look, and I think that it just shows kind of like how, no matter how much of a fanboy you are for whatever console you like, I give like high praises to Microsoft for doing that dev mode, and for it to be even functional in the first place, because that's cool. And they do backwards compatibility with their own library.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're winning. They're the best console right now. That's the best console.
Yeah, but like the problem is Microsoft doesn't really have much in the way of exclusives. I mean, like, sure, with PS5, like, you got Demon Souls, you got Spider-Man.
Yeah, but Demon Souls and Spider-Man are on PS4 too.
Yeah,
Demon Souls isn't.
It isn't. I thought they said it was.
No. Miles Morales is on PS4, but Demon Souls is exclusive.
Okay,
but
that's the only one then.
But like, I mean, even if you're on like PS4, like, you can't play Spider-Man on an Xbox.
No.
I mean, true. Like, the game, and another thing is the exclusives that Xbox does have are also all coming to PC. Yep. Like, Halo Infinite's going to be coming to PC. Like, why would I mean, like, you want to, like, do any, like, job, you know, especially, like, in the current time, you pretty much need a computer. So, like, why would I get an Xbox One and a computer? Well, I could just get a gaming PC that does both.
Well, it will be more expensive.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, that, and I think some people love the console experience. Like, literally, my friend group don't understand why I have a gaming PC, and they're out here with their Xboxes, and I'm just like, yeah, but I can play your games, and it'll look better.
Yeah.
And they're like, well,
not to mention free online multiplayer.
Yeah.
You know what you don't get with PC? The Kinect.
Yeah, true. And then there's an exclusive that that Sony doesn't have, is Blinks the Cat. You can't play that on PS5, can you?
Yeah, it's not.
But you can get Cuphead on PS4 now, so that eventually did.
Okay, like, I'm not even like joking. If they were to port Operation Darkness to PC, I would totally buy that.
Yeah. You're like the only person in the world I know that's bringing that up in modern day.
You say Operation Darkness?
Yeah.
I think this is like the third time this week you brought it up.
I know. I was talking about it with Filthy the other day. I'm like, play Operation Darkness, please.
I'm gonna check this game out.
I might buy it.
All right. So
let
me get back to the. I'm sorry, we're on a wild tangent here. I'm gonna pull us back in for a minute. Do you think that if this gets to be a widespread thing, that Sony will actually respond to it with enabling backwards compatibility on the PS5?
I mean, they could, but the problem is, like, because it wouldn't be like hardware emulation to be software emulation, so they have to make the games backwards compatible one at a time. So, like, it's pretty unlikely that they'll get the entire PS2 library, and even if they do, it's going to have issues.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna go ignored because I don't have any faith in that. Like, in Sony going, oh man, they're like really pushing us to do this backwards compatibility, because they're very well aware of it, and the fact that even though they know that this is what people want and they're not giving it.
Well, I mean, are they aware of it? Because I remember like their CEO, he was at like some kind of event, like some kind of Gran Turismo event where they had footage. They were showing footage of the older games, and he was like, why would anyone play this?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Well, no microtransactions is one reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just shows how out of touch they are then. Jeez.
Look at the nostalgia for the Mario 3D collection.
Yeah.
There's no DLC. There's no transactions you can make in those games. Nintendo's like, hey, you know what? You can have this through March 31st next year. If you don't buy it by then, you're sorry out of luck, man.
You would think that they would at least keep an eye on what their competitors are doing and seeing, oh yeah, when they release old thing, people like it, so maybe we should release old thing. But I
old
guess
things sell money or make money.
Yeah. Low effort, sell money, or makes money. Like, okay.
Like Nocturne's probably gonna sell like crazy, despite the issues that it has had that you guys have pointed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already done like what 175 in sales, which sounds bad, but that's pretty good for a low effort release. Like
Yeah.
they didn't do a whole lot. It didn't cost a lot to do, and they're making a lot with their merch because oh my god.
Biggest
so
thing
much.
was voice acting, right? That was the most expensive part of it.
Yeah, and the voice acting is really good.
That's what I've heard a little bit about. Oh, you're
I'm
back.
getting a black screen.
You're good. You're back again.
Okay, but the voice acting is probably my favorite part of it, and I think that if Sony would just wise up, this should be the wake up call, but I don't think it will be because
It probably won't be.
You guys, yeah, they're out of touch.
Sony's like, hey, just buy our old console.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy CRT too.
there is okay. You need to look at. There's a PS2 to HDMI adapter you can buy with an M cable. It upscales it really nicely if you're really interested in that.
Oh, okay. I'll check that out.
You can also get component upscalers that you can just plug into, because PS2 has native component support, which is it's really like 480i, but you can get 1080p out of some games, or 1080i out of some games. There's no 1080p out of the PS2.
There actually was one PS2 game that supported 1080.
1080i, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Jackass the game.
It was either that one or it was Gran Turismo. I don't remember which.
They both sound like viable.
But it was either racing or it was like just a bizarre game like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of backwards compatibility, for some reason on the Xbox 360, they took it upon themselves to make the Guy game backwards compatible.
Yeah.
I don't know why. You can play that on a 360.
They were able to make the Guy game backwards compatible, but they couldn't have bothered to make Time Splitters Future Perfect backwards compatible.
That is totally true.
Well, the Guy game does kind of age quite well.
Or horribly. I don't know. Oh, that's a dad joke if I've ever heard one. All right, let's see here. So as far as playing the older Persona games on an Xbox, is that something you guys would do if you had one?
Yes, Xbox.
Yeah.
The Xbox Pro controller, for the one, that's like the best controller on the market right now, in my opinion. So I already love them for that. Being able to hold that controller while playing a Persona game is like, that's the dream.
Hey, I've played using the PlayStation Remote Play with this.
Ooh.
Xbox 360 wired controller.
360 controller is also pretty competent. I don't know. It seems like I love Microsoft and I don't own any of their consoles.
I mean, fair enough, but the fact that it can do this and they let you have dev mode, I did hear one theory. Yep. This is the only theory I've really heard in regards to this, is that enabling dev mode for everybody means that they will never be jailbroken. Like, it just completely discourages the jailbreak market for the Xbox. Because why would you need to?
That's 5D dice or chess.
Like, you're not going to get a bunch of people trying to exploit the Xbox, because why would you ever need to? So, like, for the PlayStation 5, there's probably people already trying to break into that thing, because there is no backwards compatibility. There's no homebrew. There's no dev for people that are just the average people like you and I and Nyarly. And that's kind of sad, because in the Xbox, it's just like, hey, I want to be a developer. There you go. Here's the keys to the castle.
Yeah, it just encourages a whole new generation, because those people who are excited about this information are going to be the people who are going to be working on the Xbox Series X3, you know?
Yeah.
And it's going to be because of how open Microsoft is being. And then the people who are on a PS5 are just going to hate Sony forever because it's not backwards compatible and they'll never be able to play Toomba on their PS5. Like,
yeah.
I did see somebody hack the Switch to play the Master Chief Collection, which was insane. And that was through an xCloud Android thing. So like there was the xCloud developer app because they loaded Android onto a Switch, and I'm like, that's just too like you've gone one step too far here because you put Android on the Switch and then you put xCloud on the Switch, and now you're playing the MCC stream from your PC. Like it's like one step too far. But this is easy. Go to dev mode, install RetroArch, play Persona. There you go,
Especially
Xbox
Persona
owners. You have all of the Persona games before 5.
Especially the first one.
Including Arena, and that's natively supported.
Really?
Yeah. Arena's a backwards compatibility title.
Nice.
But not Ultimax. For reasons I don't know. Anyways, I think you guys have we've probably said enough about this. Like Nyarly said, this video is probably not going to be a 45-minute ridiculous video. So, anything else you guys want to say?
If you want to buy an Xbox Series X, that's the theme of the video. If you're a Persona fan, that's the console.
Unless you want Persona 6.
Fair enough.
As always, I'm Chris.
I'm Larrue.
I'm Nyarly.
And I'm Spencer. And we will see you on the next CHRILLCAST. Bye, guys.